Local webcasting for a worldwide audience.
Hi, Hannah and Nick McMaster of Brighton-based alt-folk band The Sweet Ordeal, here with Finding Land Folk Show, music from the shores of folk. Welcome.
Whether you are steeped in the genre like me, a toe dipper like Hannah, or joining the journey for the first time, we are delighted that you can join us for an hour or so of traditional and contemporary folk music from around the UK and beyond, with a healthy sprinkling of artists from our own beautiful part of the world in Sussex.
We won't be druv, Nick.
We won't be druv.
We start today's episode as we ended the last. I'm liking your circular narrative themes going on with your episodes, Nick. Well done.
Thank you, Hannah.
So we're starting, as we ended the last, with the genre-busting singer-songwriter and musician Chelsea Wolfe, whose work blends elements of rock, metal and folk, often with a dark undertow. You've got to watch out for the dark undertow, Nick.
You have indeed, and that probably takes you back to many stories of living on a boat.
There were many dark undertows there. This is from her 2015 album, on the Sargent House label, This Is More.
trouble these days. I don't know what to say about all the crazy things that I have done. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I know this for sure, that I'm the only one not having fun. I got my teeth white and my jeans tight. I got my hair long and it's still wrong. And I wanna know when I can stop taking it slow, 'cause I've had enough. I don't know what to expect. I feel a disconnect, and in all my years I've never felt so young. I'm not gonna break my back, work until my bones crack, if I'm the only one not having fun. I got my hair long and it's still wrong. And I wanna know when I can stop taking it slow, 'cause I've had enough. Stop asking me why. I won't take the things you give me. I'm not gonna smile when you shake my hand and tell me you're not happy with me. I got my teeth white and my jeans tight. I got my hair long and it's still wrong. And I know when I can stop taking it slow, 'cause I've had enough. I know when I can stop.
We've listened to More by Chelsea Wolfe, and sticking to the theme of mouths, Hannah.
You love a theme, don't you?
Absolutely. Teeth White by Watford's Finest, The Staves, from their 2014 album, If I Was. The album was produced by cottagecore pioneer Justin Vernon, better known as Bon Iver, who we've played in a previous episode. Here he is on For Emma Forever Ago, his initially self-released 2007 debut album, which received widespread critical acclaim. This is The Wolves, Act 1 and 2.
Someday my pain, someday my pain, mark you harness your blame, harness your blame, mark through. around you. In the morning I'll call you, send it farther on. Started smoking, started smoking stars. You swing wide your crane, swing wide your crane, run me through. And the stories all over you. In the morning I'll call you. Can't you find a clue? When your eyes are all painted Sinatra blue. What might have been lost? 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 Don't bother me. Don't bother. What might have been lost? Don't bother. What might have been lost? What might have been lost? Don't bother. What might have been lost? What might have been lost? What might have been What might have been What might have been lost? Someday my pain, someday my pain, someday my pain, someday my pain.
Oh, them woods are howling, 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 howling. Yeah, them woods are howling, howling all around my poor little darling. See them blue clouds flying, my poor little darling, home and crying.
You're listening to Finding Land Folk Show, where music matters on Radio Lewes. And you've just heard Wolves Are Howling by Mike Seeger, musician and folklorist, and part of the legendary Seeger family, who were one of the first families of American folk music. Before that was The Wolves, Act 1 and 2, which makes it sound very Shakespearean in my mind, by Bon Iver.
Sticking to and ending the wolf theme.
There you go with your themes again, Nick.
Is this song by the Arcadian Wild, a progressive bluegrass and folk band who were formed in Nashville, Tennessee in 2013.
I mean, if you're going to have to be forming anywhere, it's Nashville, Tennessee, really. It's a great place to form, which makes me think, though, what's the British equivalent, Nick? Where's the place in Britain to form a folk band?
So, Hannah, well, it would be easy to say somewhere like Northumbria, where the brilliant band The Unthanks are from.
Yes. I mean, if I was kind of thinking, but remember, I'm just a toe dipper here, I'd be thinking Cornwall or Devon or somewhere like that. But then, of course, you've got all the Celtic places.
Yes, absolutely. So, yes, I was also thinking the West Country or Scotland. However, have you heard of Cecil Sharp?
No, I can't say I have.
Wow, Cecil Sharp House is the headquarters of the English Folk Dance and Song Society.
Now, don't tell me it's in somewhere like Milton Keynes. That might ruin everything for me.
But it is based in, drumroll please, Camden. So...
Oh, okay,
yes.
okay, yeah, no, that's...
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a music place, isn't it?
Yep, so you can really imagine Morris dancers hanging out with Damon Albarn or Shed 7 in the 90s.
I love it. Yeah, goodness me, do you know how long it's been there? I mean...
Since the 1920s when the society formed, I think.
Fantastic.
Yep. We'll maybe cover Cecil Sharp on another show, actually, an actual kind of basis for a lot of folk exploration for a century or more. So back to the Arcadian Wild. They're formed of Lincoln Mick on mandolin and Isaac Horn on guitar, and they often join forces and collaborate with other talented musicians to create a unique and diverse sound.
I think if you're called Lincoln Mick and Isaac Horn, you've got to be in a band, haven't you?
Hell yeah. Here they are with vocalist and banjoist, the rather normal-sounding Sarah Wood.
Yeah, it is a little bit. When you're up against those names, the bar has been set quite high with those names.
On their 2016 Wolves of the Revolution, and I defy you not to fall in love with this band after this song.
Okay.
There was blood in the air. I was on all fours, screaming life isn't fair. Break down these walls as the marksmen hit their mark, and their cloaks of justice are only clothes after all. Poor, young and wild, don't let them cut your tail. Just a pinch of salt in the wound, you'll be fine. One last lifeline, I'm hanging high. pinch of salt in the wound, you'll be fine. One last lifeline, I'm hanging high. Born young and wild, don't let them cut your tail. Just a pinch of salt in the wound, you'll be fine. One last lifeline, I'm hanging high.
Oh, Nick, I am very much won over by that song. That was absolutely beautiful. It had all the ingredients I'd want. It had an atmospheric drum.
Oh,
It had some wonderful, I think, banjo picking.
yes, I think so.
And it had some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful harmonies, which I thought were quite reminiscent of the self-help group who we featured last week.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I think you're right there. And that links nicely into our next bit there.
It really does, doesn't it? I didn't even mean to make that link, and I did. That's how good I'm getting at this.
You're really getting good.
Oh, yeah.
Although, actually, you shouldn't say last week because people listen to this off
Yeah,
the
it's
internet. Last episode,
last
I think you could say,
episode, I
yes,
think
yeah.
is
So,
what I meant.
You know, don't get above your station quite yet.
I've still got so much to learn. As you know, here at Finding Land, we are passionate advocates of the local folk music scene. Whether the artists come from our large urban seaside communities or the inland towns, parishes and villages of our historic county, we won't be druv in seeking out the best Sussex has to offer. Isn't that right, Nick?
Absolutely,
Did you
Hannah.
see what I did there?
Absolutely. And I've scoured the coast and discovered two bands, one from Brighton and one from Hastings.
My old stomping ground there, Hastings was.
Well, weirdly, with your funny little feet, I imagine you do mainly stomp because your feet sort of lean more towards hooves than human.
They do. They do. I did a lot of stomping and probably falling over in
Absolutely.
Hastings.
It's a whole new podcast, listener. So first up is Hastings, marvellously named The Limbs of Romney. Like it.
I like that name.
A duo formed during lockdown by Andrew Myers and Chris Watkins. From their 2021 EP of the same name, this is Home to Shore, which, Hannah, listen out, it makes me think of John Lydon trying to play Tubular Bells in a fevered dream.
Big claims there. I'm looking forward to this.
Home to shore.
totally see what you mean now, Nick. There is that. It is John Lydon doing Tubular Bells, really.
Absolutely. I feel quite smug about that.
But really enjoyable.
Yeah, really enjoyable.
To be fair, which it would be if John Lydon was doing Tubular Bells, I think. Next up is singer-songwriter Zora, who performs solo, in a duo, or leading a collective of musicians in a band, all under the moniker Dryadic. Originally hailing from southwest England, her sound traverses an acoustic spectrum with a British-European folk core and smatterings of roots, jazz, gypsy and pop at the edges. So much there to choose from. From her 2021 EP, No Time Like the Present, this is Road Trip.
Road trip out of town, sun blazing, windows are down winding tarmac roads. Never mind where I'll go. In my van, dog on the bed, got everything material I need. Wanna drive away from my head, get back to me. You are everywhere, round the corner in my bed, and I can't take it wherever I sleep. You are everywhere, this song that I put despair, and I can't run from what's inside of me. Put the mile in between, clear the cobwebs, know what I mean. Sing the can as the sun sets low, sing that old song I know. Wanna wake with the natural light, with the feeling everything's right. Searching for a fresh new hair, 'cause my heart is back there. You are everywhere, round the corner in my bed, and I can't shake it wherever I sleep. You are everywhere, this song that I put despair, and I can't run from what's inside of me. You are everywhere, round the corner
for a phonograph. I was a kid, I sat with an ear close, just listening. Was there when the rain tapped away down your face? You were a miracle, I was just holding your space. World time has a way of throwing it all in your face. The past, she is haunted, the future is laced. Heartbreak, you know, drives a big black car. I swear I was in the backseat, just minding my own. Through the glass, the corn crows come like rain. They won't stay, they won't stay for too long now. This could be all that we know of love and all. Well, you were a dancer and I was a rag. The song in my head was all that I had. Hope was a letter I never could send. Well, love was a country we couldn't defend. Through the carnival, we watched them go round and round. All we knew of home was just a sunset and some clowns. Oh, well, you were a magazine, I was a plain Jane, just walking the sidewalks covered in rain. Love to just get into some of your stories, me and all my plain Jane glory. Just me and all my plain Jane glory. Hey, hey.
We've just listened to Road Trip by Dryadic, followed by Big Black Car by horticulturalist turned Grammy-nominated musician Gregory Alan Isaacoff. Hannah.
Yes, Nick.
What have Sheryl Crow, Bill Berry from R.E.M., Alex James from Blur, and Roger Daltrey have in common?
Okay, let me have a think about this. I'm thinking it's going to be either cheese or they all dated Lance Armstrong. Am I close with any of them?
No. Maybe. Oh, I don't know.
Slightly.
Do you want to know?
I'd love to know. It's the only thing I want to know right now.
Hell yeah. Like Isaacoff, who has a farm in Colorado, Sheryl Crow has a horse farm in Tennessee.
I see where you're going with this now.
Bill Berry has a hay farm in Georgia. Alex James has a cheese farm in Oxfordshire.
I was near with cheese, wasn't I?
Yeah. And Roger Daltrey famously has a trout farm in East Sussex.
He does indeed.
Near Burwash, I think. So, Hannah, all we need is for Old MacDonald to release an album. Or is he just a one-hit wonder?
I think he might be a one-hit wonder. I think it's the sort of thing I could have imagined being a one-hit wonder in the sort of the mid-70s, that song. And now I know you're going to be very excited, because we are coming to another regular-ish feature in our shows. Are you excited about that, Nick?
Yeah, tell me. What's it called?
It's my little feature, and it's called Hannah's Could It Be Folk? And in this little slot, I present one of my favourite songs, and I ask you, Nick, could it be folk? So
Intriguing.
you become like the sort of judge and jury, or Judge Judy.
And executioner.
Yes, absolutely. A bit like, we're in Lewes, we've got the courts here,
Absolutely. Well, actually, Hannah,
Yes.
as you mentioned the courts, do you want to know some of the famous trials that have happened at Lewes Crown Court?
Well, a moment ago, all I wanted to know is what those artists had in common. But now, the only thing I want to know is what happened, what famous law cases were in those courts. So you've got to tell me.
There was the Crumbles murder case in 1920, the Brighton trunk murder in 1934, the acid bath murder of 1949, and of course the numerous appearances of Katie Price, the true Duchess of Sussex.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Hannah, could it be folk?
Well, you tell me, Nick. First up, we have got Neighbourhood 2, Like Her, by Arcade Fire, from their 2004 album Funeral, which I think has folk stylings, but I'm going to leave it with you as the judge to decide what you think.
I'll get the hanky for my head now.
Alexander, our older brother, set out for a great adventure. He tore images out of his pictures. He scratched out names out of all his letters. Come on, Alex, you can do it. Come on, Alex, there's nothing to it. If you want something, don't ask for nothing. If you want nothing, don't ask for something. Older brother, we're by a bonfire. For you, we got his kids in a car. And now we're making choices. You come on, Alex, don't die trying.
OK, Nick, Your Honour, I'm ready for your verdict.
OK. Thank you, Hannah. So I'm going to set the criteria for the sake of argument, for classic folk. We need traditional instruments.
Yep.
And a good story, which in my view is best when it's about death.
Well, and coincidentally, the song was on an album called Funeral, because the songs are about death, apparently.
Okay. So, all right. Lyrically, whilst it's ambiguous, the song appears to be set in Eastern Europe, as it mentions vampires, and has the very common name of Alexander in there.
I like you've really listened to this and done your research here.
Thank you. And specifically the Soviet Union through the title Laika, and this has to be a reference for the dog of the same name, which in 1958, as a part of the Soviet space program, became the first animal to orbit the moon.
Do you know what should have been the first animal to orbit the moon, Nick?
What?
It should have been a ferret.
Trouble is, though, ferrets like to poo in corners.
There's no poor corners in a rocket, is there?
That's another title. We have ferrets, listener. So, unfortunately, they had no plan for a return. So, in true folk lyric style, she died of overheating hours into the flight.
Oh, poor Laika. I mean, they weren't big on animal rights in the 50s, and probably certainly not in the Soviet Union, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. So, however, the main body of the lyrics are more impressionistic than narrational. Are we okay there so far?
Okay, I'm with you. I'm following you, and there's nothing that's making me want to kind of jump over the
Desk and punch me in the face?
No, absolutely,
right,
no,
okay.
not yet.
All right, so then we come to the instruments. So alongside the usual rock instruments, I'm hearing, in addition at least, a xylophone, an accordion, strings, probably a violin and a cello, and maybe even a harp towards the end. So it ticks all the boxes there.
Absolutely, lots. And there's quite a few multi-instrumentalists in Arcade Fire.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I would say I'm a multi-instrumentalist in a Sweet Ordeal. I can play quite badly the small ukulele and quite badly the slightly bigger ukulele and really badly the electric uke. So there we go. No, I'm brilliant, by the way. I would say, though, Hannah, that the vocal feels quite 80s in style, with a nod to punk and new wave, and is also treated with effects. So that pushes it away from folk, which is generally less demonstrative and more melodic.
I see where you're coming there. I mean, I like the harmonies that come in with it, and for me, one of the best features of that song is his vocal, but I can only agree with you on there. Yes, it's much more demonstrative than melodic.
OK, so all rise.
I'm standing and I'm waiting, Nick.
In conclusion, Hannah, you ask, could it be folk? And I answer, no.
Oh.
Whilst there are elements of folk in the subject matter and instrumentation, the delivery of both the vocal and the music is nearer to other genres such as indie, post-punk and orchestral pop. So it just can't quite find land. See what I've done there?
I do see what you did there. Well done. And thank you for your considered verdict, Nick.
Thank you. So you're not going to appeal and you're accepting the verdict?
I'm not going to appeal, but for the next time I come back with a new Could It Be Folk song, I'm going to come back at you harder and more brutally.
That sounds like the Crumble murders that were referenced earlier.
Absolutely. Right, Nick, I'll wash away my first attempt at finding land and cleanse us both with some good old solid folk, courtesy of County Sligo heroes Dervish. From their 1992 album Harmony Hill, this is the traditional Apples in Winter. that song is also known as the Unfortunate Rake, Nick?
No, but you know what? That's what I felt like when we first started courting, Hannah.
Unbelievable. Well, that's quite rude, isn't it?
Luckily, you accepted the fact that I bought a ticket to Bexhill.
You did indeed. And, of course, we first started dating here in Lewes, didn't we?
Oh, enough of our sordid private life, though, Hannah.
No one wants to hear that.
No one wants to hear that. But I do have some salve for you, as you've lost your first case, the first of many cases I'm sure you will lose.
Oh, are we saying that there's some sort of crooked jury here?
Oh, maybe. I might accept the occasional bung. But again, enough about our sordid love life. So I do have a treat for you, Hannah.
Oh, thank you.
You came across a band the other day called the Great Lake Swimmers, yes?
I did indeed, yes. I mean, thanks to the wonders of, I'm ashamed to say, sort of the wonders of Spotify, where you just let the album run on and a new song comes up, and this came up and I was like, oh, what a lovely band. So I rushed home to tell you about them.
Of course, we do have a vinyl and a gramophone at home as well for the hipsters and purists
and
out
one of
there.
those music box things.
Absolutely. So they hail from Ontario and have been making music since 2003. Starting off very much in the pastoral indie folk vein, in more recent years they've become more experimental and orchestral. There are very similar elements to those present in Neighbourhood 2, Leica, but this is maybe what Arcade Fire could sound like if they truly embraced folk sensibility. From their 2018 album, The Waves, The Wake, this is the Great Lake Swimmers and The Open Sea.
Sharpened an awareness to a point that has effect. The light switched on where the lines intersect, flowing at every angle, everywhere at once. On fire, I knew you there. How do I get to you? And where can you be seen? In the tangle, in the blindness, in the distance, in between the two. See
just like a toy boat that's floating down the river, gently bobbing up and down, with the autumn leaves brightly settling on the water, in rainbow eddies spinning round. A wild and lonely seed that's born upon the wind, you never worry where you're bound. You ride the rapids like a feather on the air, with no complaints and not a sound. But take care, please take care as you travel on your journey. Take care, but beware of the open sea. In perfect innocence, your world seems like a flower, never fading, always bright. You never look ahead, don't see the waterfall, you never see the warning light. But take care, please take care as you travel on your journey. Take care, but beware of the open sea. Like Peter Pan, you never think about tomorrow. Tomorrow brings another day. No time to stop and think, no time to think of sorrow. You turn your back and fly away. Take care, please take care as you travel on your journey. Take care, and beware of the open sea. Take care, please take care as you travel on your way. Take care, and beware of the open sea.
You just listened to The Open Sea by Great Lake Swimmers, followed by the similarly titled Open Sea, this time from the legendary Pentangle. And we have been Finding Land Folk Show, where music matters on Radio Lewes with Nick and Hannah McMaster from the Sweet Ordeal. If you've enjoyed the show and want to make a request or just say hi, we love it when you say hi, so say hi. Drop us an email at thesweetordeal@gmail.com. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you will do so again soon.
Absolutely. And Hannah, can I just say that if, listener, you've enjoyed the show, we would really appreciate it if you share it, repost it, or retweet it. Because if we don't get enough listeners, I've been told today that producer Ben will make us present Crochet Corner, where stitches matter, on Radio Lewes in the future. So keep us on Finding Land Folk Show. We end today's show with Scottish singer, songwriter and musician Paolo Nutini from his 2009 #1 album, Sunny Side Up. This is the lead single, Candy Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I was perched outside in the pouring rain, trying to make myself a sail that I'll float to you, my darling, with the evening on my tail. Although not the most honest means of travel, it gets me there nonetheless. I'm a heartless man at worst, babe, and a hairless one at best. Darling, I'll leave your skin, I'll even wash your clothes. Just give me some candy before I go. Oh, darling, I'll kiss your eyes and lay you down on your rug. Just give me some candy after my hug. Oh, I'm often found explaining, but the hurt lays out all the same. And although I'm left defeated, it gets held against my name. I know you got plenty to offer, baby, but I guess I've taken quite enough. While I'm some stain there on your bedsheet, you're my diamond in the rough. Darling, I'll bathe your skin, I'll even wash your clothes. Just give me some candy before I go. Oh, darling, I'll kiss your eyes and lay you down on your rug. Just give me some candy after my hug. I know that the writing's on the wall, but darling, I'll bathe your skin, I'll even wash your clothes. Just give me some candy before I go. Oh, darling, I'll kiss your eyes and lay you down on your rug. Just give me some candy after my hug. Oh, and I'll be there waiting for you. Know that I'll be there waiting for you. Oh, I'll be there waiting for you. Oh, I'll be there waiting for you. Oh, I'll be there waiting
Radio Lewes. Local community webcasting.